I never lied where I came from. Texas had its place for me to find a home deep in my soul. I must know the world as a whole.
This is Creative's Cornerstone, and I'm Carol Coburn, your host for the next hour. Creative's Cornerstone is a show that is about all things creative, every genre, music, writers, photographers, even producers. And today's guest is none other than Wayne Vachon. He is a producer here out of Public Access. Welcome to the show, Wayne.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
How's it going, Carol?
It's going.
All
Thank
right.
you for agreeing to be here today to tell us all about you and what you've got coming
Well,
to the TV.
let's talk about narcissists. I'm just kidding. No, I love the studio stuff, and I've been in and out of filmmaking for a long time. I usually am like helping people out with their film projects, but I did decide to make my own show because I used to have a podcast called FoxMantisTV back in 2015-16, and it was all about my film buddies, because that's when I was primarily doing assistant directing. So I had them come on, and then I started branching out to musicians and things of that nature, kind of what you did. And so I wanted to bring that back, but also put a new dimension in it, you know?
How exciting. Yes,
Yeah.
we met in our first producer certification or media class.
Yeah.
And Wayne, I don't know if you caught that look that Wayne shared with us, but he is actually crewing for this show and helping us out in all facets as we launch this series. Wayne, I understand that you have already begun production on your show, and I know that you're not going to tell us like what it's about, but can you tell us the concept of what you're going to be bringing?
Yeah, so my show's Fox Mantis Television is going to be all about entrepreneurship, you know, taking nothing, making it something, and growing. And all small businesses, they don't get enough love. So I want them to have a platform where they can talk about how they started, really motivate people who are probably stuck in those 9-to-5 jobs that think there's no way out, to actually think outside the box like entrepreneurs do and create something of their own and make it profitable. So not only is it just small businesses, I do want to branch out to comedians. Comedy is huge in my life. That's kind of my healing salve, is laughing.
Sure.
You know, and I love music too. I don't think I'll like be doing too many musical guests, but I'd rather more of like small businesses, mom and pop shops, things of that nature. My first episode is one of my best friends. He is a hustler, and he opened up a business, and something very tragic starts, and it just happened, and it just shows what can happen when you open a small business. There's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulations, there's going to be great things that happen too, you know, and so he's pretty much encompasses all of that. So
Well, that's pretty exciting.
yeah.
I can't wait to see that. I know that you mentioned that it started out with a bang, so really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You mentioned musicians and comedians and such, that you're going to be featuring at least comedians.
Right.
And I just want to interject. We're going to be featuring a lot of artists on this show. And the way it is applicable for your show, I would think, is that they are entrepreneurs. They are
Oh, of
trying
course.
to...
They're trying to get seats.
They're trying to build a business. And these
brand.
people are actually working full-time jobs while they're trying to do that. And I think that that's kind of applicable as far as
Right.
people trying to, but it takes a lot of courage and a lot of boldness to step off that step and say, okay, it's now or never, I'm going to do this thing. And you're going to be speaking with people like that and showing how it happens and how to make it possible.
It's definitely a risk reward to be an entrepreneur. So you have to, you know, jump off that plank into the deep water to see if you can swim. And some people swims right off the gate, and some people takes time to practice. But I don't think failure is a means to an end. I think failure is just a lesson learned. And I want to show people at home that, you know, maybe don't have that drive, or because maybe someone told them one day that they couldn't do something. You know, those little things stick. You know, when people shoot you down all the time, you think, you know, how could I possibly do that? Because everyone thinks, like, I was born with asthma, right? And so I didn't play any sports really in school because everyone's like, oh, you can't do this because you have asthma. You have this, you have that, you have that. And now, like, I don't have asthma. So it's just, okay, I can do what everyone else could. And I could have done that years ago if I just changed my mentality a little bit. And so,
perhaps, I don't know. There is childhood asthma that you do outgrow. But I understand putting limitations on yourself or believing something, and you know you better than anybody.
Right.
And, you know, I believe that during the pandemic, when everything closed down and everybody was rethinking their existence, really. I mean, everybody was rethinking what they were doing for a living and how they were going to be able to do it. And I know in the music industry, and a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people did go under, but it also had a lot of people thinking those great ideas and thinking, maybe I can do this. Maybe instead of counting on this, I can do this. Maybe I can follow my passion, pursue what I'd really like to be doing in life. And maybe they laid out plans at that time, but then the world opened up again and reality hit, and everybody was so behind on so many things because everything closed down and bills needed to be paid. I believe that your show is going to show people, that empower people, that, you know, pull those ideas off the shelf, and I'm going to show you people that are making it work, that are making the commitment and doing that. Would you say that's a pretty accurate?
I think that is a great way to define it, and I hope that comes to fruition. I hope people realize that, wow, look at these people rocking it out.
What led you down this path? I understand that you did something similar before, and now you're bringing it to this area, but what started you on this path? How did you get interested in this?
In helping people grow their business? I've always been like that. Look at just the film world. I pretty much just would help people achieve their dream. I want to make this film. How are we going to do this? I would come in, make sure that things get done on time. I'm just there to help. So I've always had this like drive to make things better for others. And you know, you have to be selfless, you know, and be selfish at the same time, because I want to be the one to do it. I want to help these people out, and I want people to see what they can do and what, you know, their dreams can come true. So I've always had that in me, and after COVID, you saw all these small businesses fail.
Yeah.
All these huge companies, they're too big to fail. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I like to give the little ones a little nudge up, so we can all have achieve our goals and dreams and aspirations, and not have to work that 9-to-5 job that we're just punching the clock, going home, being happy that it's the weekend so we don't have to work. If you love what you do, you're not working. You know, I love doing this stuff.
That's what
I love
hear.
helping people.
That's what I understand.
I mean, you did radio for what?
8 years.
Yeah. So did you like that, or?
I loved it.
See? Yeah.
And it was something that I tripped into. Actually, I take that back. It was a very proactive choice. But I also didn't give up my day job to be able to do it.
Right.
I think that takes so much guts and confidence in yourself. And if people are lacking even just a little bit, they need to build themselves up more. They need to be able to step out and let it be their time to shine. And the pressures are there. I think it's so admirable, your attitude, your servitude. And I can see where it can also be self-serving, because as you're doing that, you're also gaining the experience and the knowledge and the background. I know that you have been such a tremendous help to this show already, and this is our first recording.
Yeah.
So you have been tremendously helpful in setting this up and in doing all the things and showing us all what's what. And I'm so excited about your show. Is it going to be shown? Is it going to be a series? Is it going to be specials? What kind of?
I don't want to commit to a series right now because I don't want to have that pressure. like I said, I don't want this to feel like a job. I want to have enough time to get the guest. I don't want to rush anyone. And I have like a really small crew, so it doesn't really have to be consistent. Everyone's schedule is different too. I'll hopefully do like an episode a month or maybe twice a month, depending if I have people lined up. But I just don't want to be circumscribed into a time slot. I mean, it's 2024. People can watch whatever they want, whatever order they want. So, you know, if people are fiending for more, then yeah, I'll pump some out. But right now, I just got one that I'm about to edit. Should have it done this week, which is pretty fun. I got everything shot, ready to go. There's a lot of stuff I want to improve. It was kind of a spur of the moment because what had happened to Sax was incredible, and I had to get it then and now, so it is relevant and top of mind.
Sure.
But you know, I'm excited for it for sure, and I want to see how the first episode looks when I have it all edited. And I mean, I had audio issues. I had, I was in Studio 3, and you'd see my arm down like this. And what it was is I'm literally controlling the motherboard, like the cameras, to switch the cameras.
Wow.
So I got my hands started cramping. So because I was like trying to pay attention. Sure. You know, and I mean, it looked great. I watched the footage last night because I had shot it yesterday, and I watched it last night. And you know, it was really, really good. You couldn't tell, but I definitely wasn't as witty as I would like to be because half my brain was thinking, okay, switch to camera 2, switch to camera 3. Like, yeah. My index is camera 1, middle is camera 2. So I'm always doing this, and I'm high up, so my hand was locked like this. And so after a while, I was thankful that I just put it on Sax because he's a talker. So I just put it on camera 1 and just like, as I'm talking to him, like, yeah, I'm just nodding my head. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, let's do a wide shot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he mentioned Sax. The first time he mentioned Sax, I misunderstood the enunciation. And so, yes.
Sax Williams.
It's a person, and that's who's going to be
my first guest.
His first guest. And one of the beautiful, beautiful things that we're able to do in the studio and through public access is share this stage with so many people. In other words, not just this studio floor, but the stage of the creation. What we are going to be showing goes out on such a larger stage.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I came to this studio from the radio station. The radio station was lovely. I love it. KZSM 104.1 shout out. But I wanted to be able to show the viewers what there is out here and all of these people. There's so many artists out there working so hard to get by, and you need to know they're there, and you need to know they're hard at it, and step into it yourself. It's a bigger stage, and I believe it's going to start here with Creatives Cornerstone. And
it's gonna be great.
I'm really excited, and I'm so excited that you are my guest today. I'm going to ask everybody to sit tight. I'm going to play you a video here, a music video by a local artist, and I hope you enjoy it, and we'll catch up with Wayne in just a minute.
From the face another day as long as you are in it. Energy emanates. Give it up to the ladies, elevating yes for maybe. I'm simply stating the truth. Kids been waiting all the night for this rendezvous. Every note of every line blazing right on cue. It's the enemy till it's a symphony, and I get to share it with you. Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Our sum is greater than the parts when we feel the magic. Accelerating, beating hearts, a rush is seismographic. A little taste of heaven, a lucky number 7. It's time we make the earth move. Kids been waiting all the night for this rendezvous. Every note of every line blazing right on cue. It's the enemy till it's a symphony. There's only one thing to do. Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Limitless energy, feeling the chemistry, living the moment and up the intensity. Hey, bask in the glow, it's out of control. Challenge accepted to get us connected and out of the future and not get rejected. Hey, on top of our game, now we're drinking champagne. Kids been waiting all the night for this rendezvous. Every note of every line blazing right on cue. It's the enemy till it's a symphony, and I get to share it with you. Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me? Dance with me, like the world is ending and nobody's watching us. Who's with me? Who's with me?
Yay, that was White Label Analog, and they are actually going to be in the studio next month playing here for y'all, and you'll be hearing about them. That's exciting. During the video, I was talking for a minute to Wayne, and I want to hear your backstory, Wayne. Tell me where you came to Austin from, and just all things Wayne.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always kind of like a sad story when me coming to Austin. I mean, obviously, I grew up, my mom. I came from my mom, and then.
We don't need to go that far back.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up in Massachusetts. I was born in Salem, Massachusetts.
Cool.
Yeah, and I grew up on a farm in Lee, New Hampshire. It was like a little 3-acre farm. We had everything except for cows and llamas, but like pigs, horses, all that. And so responsibility, selflessness, that's where that came from. I love animals. I got 2 dogs and a tortoise at my house. I wish I had more, but I mean, we live in the city. So I was fortunate to have a big backyard for the doggos. So, but when I was I would say after college, I went to Atlantic Culinary Academy, and
Culinary Academy.
Yeah, my mom was a horrible cook, and I realized that if I got to learn how to cook. I learn how to feed myself, and then everyone eats, so I can always get a job around the world.
For some reason, didn't expect that to happen.
Really?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was down in Florida, And then I moved for my externship. I lived in Florida for 2 years on an island off of Fort Myers. I was on Captiva Island on South Seas Island Resort. It was pretty fun. And then I realized I don't really like cooking in restaurants too much, but I was good at it, so that's how I got around. I came back home, and I got this call center job. And my buddy Bill Borden, he was really into film stuff. And I had always been a thespian, always loved doing voices and doing play stuff, theater stuff. Like I said, I had asthma, so I didn't do any sports, so I took to drama.
Sure.
And, you know, I did variety shows and stuff like that. I used to do like stand-up for my aunt and her friends. They'd all be drinking, and I'd be like 8 years old, like doing a stand-up routine. Yeah. And so they thought I was hilarious because, you know, half in the back. But I met Bill Borden, and he had this film project, and I really, really wanted to help. I was eager to help, always wanted to be behind the scenes working on films because I was very, very interested about how they were made. And back in those days, there wasn't, you know, phones where you can just everything. So he took me under his wing. I was a PA moving stuff around for him. Met a really great people in New Hampshire. I worked with them on a couple different film projects as a PA. And then I started cooking again. We keep in touch. I go to film festivals with them. But what brought me to Austin was I was living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I was like 24. It's looking pretty good, pretty confident. I was single, so I'd like take girls on bar crawls and stuff. And there was this one girl that I talked to her, and we went on a bar crawl, and we had a lot of fun. But she lived in Austin, and we had such a great time. So she went back to Austin. She was here with her family, and then I hadn't talked to her in weeks, and my buddy Brendan Toll, he was a Marine, and we were supposed to meet up at a bar one night, and he died in a motorcycle accident.
Whoa.
The day before. And so my buddy came to the bar, broke the news. I was destroyed, distraught. Ended up calling her, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be up here. And she's like, you can always come to Austin. And I said, all right, I'll see you in 3 days. Packed a, duffel bag and and a backpack, and that was back in 2012. I was there all the way till 2017, and then I went back home to Boston. I was in Dorchester for a little bit. Then I moved to Hawaii. I had some more death in the family and stuff like that, so I went to Hawaii to just like see paradise, and then I ended up back here. And
how long were you in paradise?
A year. Yeah, I was working on a aquaponics farm in Waimanalo,
wow, that's
Oahu.
interesting.
Yeah. It was great. Slept in a tent for like 8 months.
And then when you came back from Hawaii, you came here to Austin?
Yeah, well, I went to San Antonio, but that was like a whole relationship thing that fell apart. She was really into film. I was, in fact, I was doing films in Austin from 2014 is when I started. And that was just helping my buddy that I ended up moving in with. He had a small film project that he never finished. We built like, the rain, like the fake rain thing with like tubes and stuff, and like we did all this work, and he didn't like it and scrapped it, never finished it. And I was like, ugh. And then I was looking up on Craigslist and different things, and I found a film community and started growing with that. And then I got onto this TV show as a PA, and then the next time they had me on, I got promoted to assistant director, and then went from there. I was just doing projects left and right.
So you just rolled into this business, like.
Well, I'm always fascinated. I'm good with talking to people, and I want to learn stuff. So not only am I talking to these people, I'm seeing what they're doing, learning what they're doing, learning the craft, just talking. I never went to school for it, aside from like high school drama stuff, and that's why I stayed away from cameras. I was better at going around, looking at the clock, making sure everyone's on time, letting them do their job. Just do it.
This is my history.
Yeah, I mean.
Not a camera.
Yeah, I don't have a face for camera really, but adult acne, isn't it great? Anyways, so yeah, that's how I got to Austin. That's how I got into films, and me just helping people, I realized that I've helped enough people that I can actually have my own show helping people. So I took what I'm good at and I made it into a show.
That is
just like you took your radio
so
show and now
awesome.
here we are in the third dimension.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's it. It's amazing, right? I mean, it's very surreal. But yeah, I am so grateful for my time on radio that gave me the opportunity to network and have relationships with a lot of the artists. And
It's fun, isn't it?
The scene in Austin is just, they say it's, the new Nashville. Well, I think Nashville's got a lot going on for it. But I'll tell you what, there is so much talent. Have you ever just rolled down your windows? I mean, I know, and that's really not something a lot of people do here in the summertime, is roll your windows down because you really want the AC. But roll your windows down, and when you're going through town, you have there's music on every corner coming from every establishment. And it all blends into the most beautiful, melodious ride that you could imagine. And if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that, because if you take yourself out of the moment of going between point A and point B and just appreciate the stoplight that you're parked at and listening to the sounds of the city, it's such a beautiful thing. And, I was on community radio. And again, it afforded me a wonderful opportunity to be able to meet people, and I too have a passion to promote, to help, to support, those that don't do or can't do what we can to support those that can and do. And so that's also why on the show you will be there. I have a photographer that's going to be joining us, Rodney Burseal, and he is a wildlife photographer. His pictures, they capture the droplets of water coming off of the hooves of these rampaging horses, and he's in a lineup where they're going to hit him. I mean, he's like right there, the angle of these pictures, and it's like, Rodney, how do you do this? And he's got
They're
such
plants.
Amazing pictures of tribal events, tribal ceremonies, tribal people. He goes and he lives with them in the huts. And I have Michael Wright, who is with Seven Pillars Photography. He is very well known, very iconic here in Austin. And he does the photography of all of the artists in the shows and in the concerts and in the all the things. And he's the man that captures the sweat droplets flying off of the banging guitarist as he's up on stage under the lights. He's going to be coming. I even have, and this one's fun, okay, and it is creative. She's an educator. She is a life coach and Reiki master. Her name is Melissa Clean.
Reiki?
And she is coming next month. It's in July. I think it's going to be airing probably the end of July, but she's going to be here the 14th. And she's a medium. And
That's fun. It's fascinating.
and it's a lot of fun. This studio that we record in here is iconic here in Austin. Studio One has a history. Capsize TV, Dave Pruitt and Nathan Oliveras were the masters behind and James Albany were the masters behind everything that happened in this studio. And Dave, his Capsize is now moved over to Kick Butt Cafe. So he's going to be filming all of his stuff live and all the bands that are there. Nathan Oliveras passed December 9th of last year, and he's in this studio. Every time I walk in, I can feel him. I know he's here, and I can hear his laugh. And so this studio that we're recording in is just iconic to Austin, and it's just soaked in history. And I'm so thrilled that we get to create in this space that has held so much. This is not the only studio here at Austin Public. We've got Studio 2, which your show is happening out of, and you're also using Studio 3.
That's right.
To produce your show. So, folks, I am so excited and so happy that you joined us for this episode. I have some amazing people behind the scenes. I have Jasmine, I have David. If y'all are familiar with me, if you've been a listener, David was my tech guy with my podcast for a few years. He was a former non-traditional student at the university that I work at is where we met. And he helps Jeremiah Wilkerson. If you know me, you know Jeremiah. And Dan Krell is new. And then, of course, so much help from Wayne here. I want everybody to notice his hat. Here, tuck your hat down so people can read it. We're going to see if we can get Wayne's World. You know what? She
gave it to me.
He is in. Yeah, guilty.
It was the sweetest thing ever.
But
Where we were in what class
first time we met, he
We're in
called me
Studio
sweetie
2
or
or
something,
something?
and I'm like, you don't know me very well.
in Studio 2, and you're like, hey, I got something for you, because you had mentioned briefly about it, saying you had a hat like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. And then all of a sudden, you just go into your car and give me the hat. It was very, very thoughtful.
Well, I got to tell you, I have a lot of props from some of the stuff. I was on radio,
No way.
but I also did things like I had a special Dancing in the Streets where we closed down the street in downtown San Marcos by the university, and they are going to be coming. Yes, the Red Dirt Dancers are going to be coming and teaching you how to do the two-step. I mean, this is Texas, y'all. You need to be able to do the two-step. You gotta be able to do that on the dance floor.
Where you drink a lot and then you try to walk home?
Well, they're going to teach you how to try to stay on your feet.
Oh.
And then maybe if you practice really good, you can knock a few back and then still be able to stay on your feet. I don't know. Maybe they'll help you with your flexibility. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they're amazing. They've done a couple of events with me. I emceed an event at Bobcat Stadium at the university for the American Lung Association. And they call that the Texas Two-Step because it's a lung force walk and a track walk. And I had the Red Dirt Dancers come and do an exhibition to
That's
all
fun.
the participants, and oh my gosh, they are so good. Anyway, and then they came and we shut the street down and we had people pull it up in their cars. And so the whole reason why I'm verbally vomiting all over this episode is because I had props. I have a lot of props. So even though I was on the radio and behind the mic and you didn't see me, you often saw my guests because I would always Facebook Live and stream my
cool.
shows. And I always had props. I had props for everything. And I just so happened to have a Wayne and Garth wigs and then the
cool.
Wayne's World
Oh, why
hat.
didn't you bring the Wayne wig? I would have totally rocked that.
It's yours, man. I haven't gotten rid of it. So that's why when you walked in that first class and you said, hey, everybody, my name is Wayne. And I said, this is your world.
Poof.
That just immediately, I knew where that hat was coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, y'all, thank you for this segment. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward so much to seeing what you got
Yeah, absolutely. And
visually on film. And
yeah, all right. Well, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I am going to have, you know what today is. I'm going to have a very good day today. It's starting off excellent.
Oh, well.
Joining me in the hot seat is another behind-the-scenes crew member, Jasmine Sims.
Hello.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
Speak up so the world can hear you.
Hello.
Yes. Sorry, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I wanted everybody to know you. You don't get out much out of the behind the scenes here at the show. Not that we've done much here
Yet.
for behind the scenes at the show, but Jasmine is a crew member here at Public Access who also is going through all of the classes and learning all the stuff and doing all the things. And so I thought it would be fun to do these little highlights for the crew, not for the crew, but for you, so that you know who's behind the scenes. Because even though I like to think it's all about me, it isn't. So, Jasmine, tell me about you. Tell me about why you're doing what you're doing and how you came to be here.
Well, to be honest, to bring it all the way back, when I was about 8 years old, my parents got me a Barbie video camera that it was the type that you had to connect it to an actual VHS
Yes.
and stick it in the VCR and hit the record button, which was all the other buttons were fake. But except for the record button. And I used to make music videos. I think the music was in my mind. I don't remember actually playing music.
No.
But that's really how it started. I really loved video back then. Fast forward to when I was in high school, I asked for an actual digital video camera, and I would just bring it with my friends, and we would pull pranks on each other and have the camera there. And this was pre-YouTube, so it wasn't even, you know, we were making it for a channel or anything. We just laughed about it later.
We used to call those home TV. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we did them for. We would
Yeah.
make the videos and then we would sit around and laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. And when YouTube did come around, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. People are making videos on whatever. People were actually making music videos. So actually, my first YouTube channel, my sister and I would take music like Nelly or I can't remember, or Kellis, and we would play it and make actual music videos that are incredibly embarrassing now. Like they're still up on YouTube getting views, and like one of them got so many views back in like the before 2010, maybe like 2008, that YouTube was like, oh, would you like to monetize? But
Snap.
I was like 15 and I was like, no. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Call me.
So that's really that's how it got started. And it wasn't again until later in 2017 that I started my YouTube channel that I'm still working on now. And so
Do we want to give a shout out to your YouTube channel so that people can check you out?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is It's Jazzio. That channel,
Jazzio?
It's Jazzio.
It's
yeah.
Jazzio.
And so that channel, I mean, like when I initially had started it, it was about gaming, playing video games, which has also been, you know, just something fun that I have been doing since I was a kid. And so I remember seeing someone else playing games on YouTube, and I thought, well, I can do that. It is very hard, but I did learn how to do that and like edit the videos and work on. I transitioned from just making videos to live streaming them on Twitch. And so from there, from Twitch, I actually started doing charity events. And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so working with Extra Life, which is, Extra Life works with a lot of children's hospitals around the country. And so my own personal channel, we've raised a couple $1,000s to help kids and to take care of their
That is
treatment.
so outstanding. I love that about you. Oh my gosh.
I really, really enjoy streaming for charity. It gives more of a purpose. It's fun to
Sure.
live stream and, you know, play, for example, scary games and people laugh at you because you're scared. It's another thing when you're like doing all of that, but you're doing it with a purpose. You're helping
Sure.
kids. And so that's a lot of fun. And I really feel alive when I live stream. It's pretty great.
That's outstanding. So then that brings us to the studio and all of these classes that you're taking, and I am grateful for it, and I'm so grateful to have met you in one of those classes, and
happy to be here.
now we're doing the show. So what brought you here?
So in, like, I want to say between like 2020 and 2023, really through almost to this year too, I was incredibly depressed because I just did not know what I was doing anymore. I had gotten...
Was this during COVID? You said 2020?
Yeah. I had, in 2020, I had to stop my YouTube channel because I had carpal tunnel in both of my arms. So I couldn't do anything. And that kind of I fell away from making content. And when I tried to come back, I felt like I couldn't make anything that was good enough. And so from there, to be honest, I kind of spiraled a little bit, and I was just in a dark place. And by January, I was like, I'm sick of this. I need to do something. I need to get back to where all the creative people are. And I knew when I came to Austin, and when I moved here in 2018, I'm like, 2019, there are creatives here. It's Austin. They're here. And I had looked up actually Austin School of Film, and I toured their facility, and that was in 2019, but I didn't do anything with that. And so in 2023, like December, I started signing up for classes, and I started signing up for classes in Austin Public here at the studio, because I'm just like, I need to find people that are
You need to
also-
find your people.
Yeah, I need to find my people.
your people.
Yeah, and I came into this with the hope of learning new tools for myself and also getting inspiration from other people to come up with my next thing, because I still love video. I still love live streaming, but I kind of lost it. And I know that being able to even work behind the scenes and help other people work on their passion projects, it'll help bring mine back.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You know, that's one thing about creatives. When you can't create, you know, they talk about writer's block. Well,
Yeah.
it's for all people that are
Yeah.
creative
Yeah.
beings. You know, if you cannot create, if you don't have that outlet,
Yeah.
it can go to dark places. It's a real stopgap.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad you found your way here. And I'm so glad you found your way to this show. And were willing to crew. And I was so excited. Darianne in the office, she's like, we have a Jasmine that contacts me. And I'm like, Jasmine? We had just had that class. And I'm like, was that Jasmine from Studio 2?
I was like desperate. I'm just like,
Oh,
can
gee,
I?
thanks.
Because no. So
I get that
had
a lot.
So I worked on a short film with some students at Austin School of Film, and we finished. We wrapped up at the end of March. And I loved being on set so much. I'm like, where are the rest of the people making things? Where are people making things? And I emailed everyone I could. I had people that I thought were my friends, and they completely ghosted me when I asked, like, hey, are you working on anything? And I'm just like, okay, nothing. And then I emailed, I guess,
Darianne?
Darianne. I emailed her, and I was just like, do you know anybody that's doing anything? And she gave me your contact, and I thought it was you too. And I'm just like, I am gonna email her right now so that I can figure out and help her with whatever. And so that's why I was just open to
I was so glad.
Yeah.
So when we were learning the cameras and all the things, and everybody was over in the control room, everybody, and you're sitting alone in this space. And there is this, what you can't see off camera is that there's this massive monitor in front of you, and it's all you can do not to stare at yourself, because you really don't want to stare at yourself. And so I'm in this big dark space, and all there was me and that big screen.
Yeah.
And I was so uncomfortable. And I remember you coming around the corner from the control room saying, you look good. And I'm like, I know you're lying, but thank you. That meant so much
not a lie.
that you took the time to come out and say, you're doing fine sitting there in the dark while you're listening to all of us laughing around the corner. And
Yeah.
you know they're laughing at you, right? Because what else could they be looking at?
We're laughing at just the learning process.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm being silly, but yeah, but it just touched my heart, and it's like, I heard your name, like, Jasmine. So
Yeah.
welcome, and I'm so
you.
grateful. And y'all, I'm excited to be able to share the crew and the behind the scenes with y'all. We've got some more stuff coming up. We've got more crew members to introduce you to, and thank you for being part of this journey, Jasmine.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yay.
I wasn't raised by no river. I was born in the suburbs of Illinois. I was taken from my home, too young to know, when I was still just a boy. So I hold my breath till the day I can rest, and I live to know I'll be gone, off to somewhere just like all those places in my mind. And I will call it home, my old home, Chicago. I never lied where I came from. Texas had its place for me to find a home deep in my soul. I must know the world as a whole. So I hold my breath till the day I can rest, and I live gone. Off to somewhere just like all those places in my mind. And I will call it home, my old home, my old home, my old home, Chicago. So I hold my breath the day I can rest, and I live to know that I'll be gone. Off to somewhere just like all those places in my mind. And I will call it home, my old home, my old home, my old home, Chicago.
We have got David Serrato on our crew. Yay, David.
Hello.
Hey. So tell us a little bit about yourself and like what led you here? Why you're doing this?
Well, so actually, me and Carol met. I worked for her in college at the university, and she was my boss lady. So I got to know her there, and you know, I was a computer science major, so you know, kind of a techie guy. And just some of the projects we'd worked on at work, we kind of felt like we had a good vibe. So she asked me to do help her on a podcast. So we actually have a podcast we worked on together, and
Conversations with Carol.
yeah. So we worked on that. That was really cool. She mentioned this project, so I thought, hey, that sounds really fun. So I haven't done anything TV production wise, so it's kind of nice to learn something new and be involved in it. But
So are you Texas born and raised, or?
yes, a native Austinite. Yeah, they call me a unicorn sometimes.
I don't understand that analogy.
Apparently there's not a lot of native Austinites anymore. I think they moved elsewhere.
So the rarity is what the comp.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know.
And what's your degree in?
Computer science.
Yeah. So here at the studio, what is it that you're working on for us? You do a little bit of everything?
Mainly set up cameras, and I'm really at this point just in the learning mode. So
we all are
setting up cameras, then mic stuff. I played music back in the day, so the miking and all that stuff is pretty familiar to me. But so yeah.
What kind of music do you play?
I played, started with my church, good old church music. You know, a lot of great musicians started playing in church. And then I just wrote some stuff, my own stuff, indie type, indie stuff, yeah.
So, but what is your instrument of choice?
Guitar.
Is it vocal or is it you?
Absolutely guitar, yeah. I'm not much of a vocalist, so I have limited range on that. So, but yeah, guitar, totally.
I like the way you slid into that, you know. I started in church like all the greats did. Like, so why'd you quit? I mean, if you're, you know, I mean,
Yeah, you know, that is a good question. I honestly just, you know, you live your life, you start finding interest in other things, other projects.
Yay,
And,
we're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I ever get the urge or if I get the energy to start creating like that again, I'm not going to fight it. But right now, I feel like my focus is on other things. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I am so glad that you have joined us here. You know, this show is a bunch of us together. I mean, I know that y'all are going to see my face a lot during this, but the crew is what makes this happen. From the lights, the mics, the stage, all of the editing, the credits, everything is done behind the scenes and by the people that you're meeting here. So thanks for giving us a few minutes here, David, and we need you behind the camera.
All right, that works. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, as we continue our interviews with the crew, I have got Dan Krell, Danny, aka Danny Krell.
How's it going?
Hey, it's going. So, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Tell us about Danny.
Well, there's a lot. Mainly, I'm an artist. All sorts of different types of art, from painting to clay, you name it, I do it.
That is very cool. What do you do with your art? Is it just for
Mostly just
hobby?
for me, yeah. I mean, I went to art school, I went to film school, so I got both those done.
Film school.
Yeah, animation particularly.
So how lucky are we that you are part of this?
Very lucky.
You know, we really are. So what do you do here on the set that we want to know you're out there doing?
Multiple things, working in the control room, messing with lights. That's mainly it.
Very cool. And I know for a fact that you are not an Austinite. I mean, you are, you know, now you're living in
6 years here.
in the, you know, peripherals of Austin. Where are you from?
Chicago.
How
Sweet home
weird
Chicago.
is that? Yeah, we just recorded an episode with Scott Collins where he's from Chicago too.
We're all moving here.
Hey, careful. We have to leave the building. Wow, very cool. So what prompted you to leave Chicago and come here?
Need to get away from the cold. Bad winters.
I don't know what you're talking about.
-40 for 3 weeks is not for me.
I kind of feel, I've been here 20 years now, and I kind of feel like we're bringing it with us because when I first came here, we'd get maybe a couple of inches, or not even a couple inches. We'd get like a couple of flakes, you know, just enough to cover like the patio chairs. And now, I mean, we had that serious snow situation happen a couple years ago here.
Snow and ice, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, again, I'm going to share that Dan is one of the people, just one of the many here that help put this show together and bring it to you so that you can meet the people that we feature on the show. And so I think it's only right that we feature the crew as well, from the camera operation to the lights positioning and what lights are used when and where, to sound, and of course the control room, which looks like, I don't know, what would you compare that to? That's like
It's a little spaceship looking, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's like, you know, we should be flying somewhere and landing somewhere with all the controls in that room. And thanks to Danny here and Jasmine, who we've previously talked to, we're able to put this thing together. So tune in next week when it will be Scott Collins and he is the gentleman that does our theme song, My Old Home, Chicago. And he'll be here sharing his music and some of his life stories. And we look forward to that time with you. Thanks for tuning in.
We hope your new realtor plays drums in a band. We hope your new dentist is its front man. We hope live music always makes you proud. Just don't call the cops if you think it's too loud.